Now is the time for me to invite our guest of honor, and you will be very surprised and very happy to know that this gentleman is called Mahabir Kun, has come all the way from Nepal. He is humbly connected more than 70 kilometers of area in wireless mesh network, providing internet to everybody and doing e-commerce on intranet. And he left US quite a few years back and came back to his village and saw that nothing has happened, no change has been taking place. And he literally transformed in the last 8 years the entire area, where even after Kathmandu you take a 25 minutes flight, still you take a day to reach there, to climb there. And he has created a wireless mesh network into the entire area, and in my knowledge, he is perhaps the only person who has got Magsaysay award for this, who has used ICT for development of the society. I don't know anybody who has got Magsaysay award for using information communication technology. He has been kind enough to grace the occasion. May I request Mr. Mahabir Kun to come and deliver his message.
Good morning, still not noon yet. Let me give thanks first to the organizers of this program for inviting me this opportunity to speak in this inaugural session. I would like to speak something about the need of pro-poor ICT policy for public good in our region. We know that it has been almost 40 years since the internet was first invented from the laboratory of Professor Leonard Kleinrock in the US. Within the last 20 years, internet has changed the shape of the world in many ways. We all know about this. It has been useful for in every area in the world. It has increased the capacity of the people to communicate with each other, many ways and very cheaply. It has been very useful for the government to provide public services. And we know that if the government wishes to eradicate corruption, it can be used for that purpose as well. It has helped the students to get university degree without having to go to the classroom. It has been used to provide medical assistance to the people living in the remote areas where there are no hospitals, where there are no doctors available. It has helped to improve the economy of the world through different kind of e-commerce activities. It has been an amazing tool for all of us. Now, I do not want to repeat the stories of how internet and ICT can help to the human being. We are here because all of us attending this big ceremony, this big festival, because we believe that ICT and internet has changed the world, even if we are from different backgrounds. According to what Mr. Osama told me, we are gathered here from 8 countries, 15 states of India, coming across diverse walk of life. Many private companies, several panchayats, sarpanches, innovators, activists, policy makers, international organizations, and so on. We are here because all of us know that how important the internet and ICT is for the 21st century. However, let's not forget the fact that there are people out there, especially in developing countries, who are living with less than $1 a day income. Those people have no idea what Internet is and what ICT is and what it can do. Let me give example of my own country. We have about 6% internet penetration rate. That means 94% of the people in my country have no access to the internet. I do not know how reliable this data is because I got it from the internet. That says, that says 6.9% in India, 7.1% in Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka 8.3%. About this percent of people have, and this is the internet penetration rate. That means overall, it is just less than 10% of the people in our region are getting access to the internet, are getting the benefit from the ICT and the internet. That means there are 90% more people, population in our region, which is like billions of people, are not getting any, help from this, and they are deprived of what it is supposed to be a part of the fundamental human right. Why is this happening so? Obviously, the ready-made answer, there is ready-made answer, and the ready-made answer that many political leaders, bureaucrats and development workers can give as an excuse is that because it's the lack of funding that is hindering them to introduce the ICT education for the children of poor people and to reach out the poor people. However, the fact is that it is not only the lack of enough funding, but also the lack of appropriate policy and regulation for the introduction and the development of ICT related services that has made it harder to reach the people, poor people especially. We can take example of Myanmar, North Korea, where ordinary people, citizens have no access to the internet at all. In our parts of the world, even if it is available for all, that's what we say, but it has been unaffordable by poor people because of some of the restrictive regulations, high licensing fee, taxes, etc. So what we can do then? The answer is simple. The policymakers of the developing countries need to be proactive and bringing favorable ICT policies and regulations that will make the ICT industry grow, and that will also target the poor people. It should be pro-poor. Since the internet is becoming now a part of basic human needs, it should be declared as one of the fundamental rights of people, like right to get basic education, right to get basic health care, etc. Based upon what I know, India has initiated lots of programs and invested lots of money in this area, which is good for the people. Let me share very briefly my recounting the story of Nepal Warders, which is legally now a small non-profit making company that we started. In 2001, when we started the Nepal Warders project in the remote villages of Nepal, supported by the volunteers from abroad, there was no fixed and mobile telephone services available in any parts of Nepal. There was strict regulation in Nepal to use Wi-Fi equipment that uses 2.4 and 5.7 gigahertz frequencies. However, we did not really care about what the regulations were. That time we risked our life during this time of political fighting in Nepal. It was the time when all the wireless equipment using those frequencies on a band had to be licensed and there was no easy way to import those equipments. It was almost impossible to get the license because of the insurgencies in Nepal that time. However, using simple Wi-Fi equipment built for indoor uses, and devising our own home-built antennas, we built our relay stations on hilltops and a bigger, wireless network in a small region in Nepal. Now, we are providing e-education, e-health, and local e-commerce services to the villages in our capacity, and we are expanding our network to many more villages, and now we are in 13 districts of Nepal. Given the political situation at that time, the government had no reason to listen to the grassroots initiative like ours. It was only in September 2006 that we were able to convince the parliamentary committee of the government to open ISM band, despite the concerned government bureaucrats still not agreeing to do so. The Telecommunication Authority of Nepal also listened to us and made the process of getting license to provide internet service in the rural areas very simple. Now anybody can get license to provide internet service in the rural areas, merely paying 100 rupees as a license fee. In my many years working in the remote areas of Nepal, I have seen that rural ICT project still succeed and sustain. In the long term, only when people understand the benefit of it and also they come forward for such development activities. Now, a lot more awareness and ICT, rural ICT development efforts from the grassroots level have taken place in Nepal. They have also managed to sustain themselves. Going regional, we all know about Dr. Yunus and the microfinance model that he has been successful in Bangladesh, and it has been copied in many places. The Aga Khan Foundation has made similar work in the Karakoram region. In India, we have heard the success stories about the projects like eChaupal and many others where there has been public participation. But this public participation is not enough. What we need is informed public participation. We want the people to know and make informed decisions, and the only way to do that is to use ICT. The telemedicine activities we have heard about and we have been using, we have pushed to some remote villages because of the availability of remote wireless networking. The microfinance model in Bangladesh got its big communication network with the Grameenphone, and similar networking infrastructure is making many other programs like eChaupal effective in the rural areas. Therefore, the best way to help our own people doing today and in future is to make it easier for them to be able to connect. It's not about the internet or about the information, but it is the connection that they carve, and that makes the whole difference. Let me finish with an invitation. Even if Nepal Wireless is a small, very small organization, about few months ago, Internet Society and the Digital Empowerment Foundation provided us an opportunity to provide wireless networking training, it's a technical training, to some of the rural stakeholders and to establish a tiny broadband wireless network in the city of Chanderi in Madhya Pradesh. Even if we are small, we always are ready to provide such training in our capacity to any rural communities around the world. So please let us know if you need such help and we'll be there. Finally, I wish for the grand success of the projects that all the finalists and applicants, even applicants, for the award have initiated to help the people through the use of ICT. And I wish for the grand success of this, gathering in New Delhi. Thank you very much.